Greetings, I'm Rob Chapman.
And I'm the captain. How are you? Turn the fan off. Boom!
Where are you? Turn the fan off. Boom.
That's it. So it's Tuesday morning. Is it Wednesday morning? It's a morning anyway in our land.
It's Wednesday.
It is. And in a secret location somewhere south of London, Fender in England, the beautiful people at Fender have sent us a sneak preview.
These people can't see these guitars yet.
On the day that you see them will be the day these guitars are launched. A replacement of, believe it or not, the Fender Standard series. So that long-standing mainstay of the Fender catalogue, the Mexican Standard, so I should say, not the American Standard, is gone. The Mexican Standard, which, bizarrely, and let's talk about this for a minute, this is the first time in Fender's illustrious 70-year history, there is no standard Strat in the whole catalogue. There's no American Standard Strat, there's no Mexican Standard Strat, there's no some other planet standard Strat.
I'm really confused
there's just no standard Strat.
By that statement.
I know, so am I.
Precisely what does it mean?
I don't know. I mean, I suspect what it means is in the NAMM show in 2019, the standard Strat will come back, and I'm just making, that's entirely supposition, I don't know. There's Fender's marketing department going, where's the mole? We got a mole! Yeah, right now there is no standard Strat in the range.
Right.
It has been replaced by this range called the Player Series. Player spelt Playa.
But doesn't that say standard on the headstock?
No, that says Stratocaster.
Oh, I can't read.
You need some new glasses.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
No, that's it. So the Mexican series now starts with the Player Series and then goes up into, you've got things like the Classic Series and the Classic Player Series, and then into Road Worn and stuff like that. And the American series goes from the Special to the Professional to the Elite.
These are the replacement for the Mexican Standard.
Absolutement.
And how much do these retailing for?
So, right, so the old the old Mexican Standard range had some Strats, had some Tellys, and I believe had a Jazzmaster in it from memory, or a Jaguar, one of the two.
I had that magazine, it was great.
Yeah, the Jazzmaster. The new Player Series, which isn't really Playa, it is
Playa, it's made in Spain.
Yeah,
Playa del Fender.
Is Strats, but several Strats. So you've got SSS, HSS, and HSH, if you want to go full modern super Strat.
I wouldn't buy unless I had HHH, that's what I'm looking for.
Then you've got Telecasters, and you've got Jazzmasters, you've got Jaguars, which, oh, that's right, the Jaguar has left us momentarily, but hopefully we'll be back soon. And basses, which the guys will cover in our All About the Bass show.
No one cares about that.
And they're just great.
What's that? Fretboard wood, sorry.
So everything is now Palfero, regardless of, this is an interesting, so despite the fact that Rob's fretboard is a little darker than mine, they are both the same species of timber, they are both Palfero, but you'll see Palfero come in various shades from slightly more reddy brown to slightly more darker brown.
It's a beautiful tone wood.
They are alder bodies. Some of the things that have been changed, so the trem system now is no longer the there are no longer 6 screws holding it to the body. It's the more contemporary sort of 2-screw pivot design. Pivot?
Most people would have
hedge, and that's a privet.
No, it's a privet. Most people would have 2-screwed a 6-screw anyway.
2-screw to 6-screw through the 5-screw, through the 2-screw and the 1.
Yes.
With the 6.
But
Which
you know what
one's
I mean?
the major and the minor screws of that 6?
Also, that each screw represents a different mode, but we've eliminated Locrian screw, thank
Right,
God.
okay.
So we actually go Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, mixed Lydian, Aeolian, and then we just stop.
Hammer time.
Anyway, so if you imagine the trem system from an American professional series being sort of ported onto the Mexican Player Series.
You've only got the Dorian and the Aeolian screws
exactly.
left. So.
The saddles are your vintage kind of, bent steel saddles. They all come from the factory with this floating tremolo setup, which players like myself will like, and players like Monsieur Chapman does not.
Well, no, I don't dislike it. It just means that tuning stability is a little bit less than you would get.
So I don't know if we can zoomaroo into this. What we're saying is here they'll come out the box with a little bit of backlift on them. But it's ever so easy if you've ever owned a Strat. You just take the back plate off, tighten the springs up that are in here, retune your guitar, and you can have it so that it's completely flat to the body. And as Rob says, makes it a bit more stable for tuning.
Also, it does things like if you are bending more than one string, for example, you'll hear the second string was detuned because the bridge lifted.
Yeah.
And I prefer it when it's flat so that if you're doing dual bends, both strings would keep their tuning.
I remember Jimi Hendrix saying once that he's amazed he sold any albums ever, bearing in mind that every time he did a dual bend, one of the strings went slightly flat.
Right. Well, he used to over-sharpen the treble strings, but also he was never, ever true bypass. Can you believe that?
I can't believe that, no.
I can't.
I mean, honestly, how the man ever got a tone...
How anyone could bear listening to
from
him.
a fuzz face into a Marshall that wasn't true bypass, I just don't know. They've redesigned the pickups, so all, again, I don't really have any particular, I don't know how they've been redesigned or characteristically how they're trying to be different, but anyway, you've just heard them. I think they sound good. You've got your typical C-shape, sort of modern C-shape fretboard. The frets are different. They're
not jumbo-y. They're
a little taller and a little thinner.
They're not taller.
They are, well, according to the specification, they are taller than what was on the Mexican Standard anyway, but they're thinner as well.
They feel taller to me, but I'm definitely probably wrong then.
Well,
they feel a lot less tall.
The logo is back to the original spaghetti logo, which I always think was the most attractive logo that Fender ever used.
You know what's also interesting is that this is set up with quite a low action.
It is.
And it still plays great.
Yeah.
And I like Rabia and I used to quite a chunky action. And it's getting away with it, this guitar, which is nice. Should we do some tones?
Yeah, I like the... good shout, because one of the things I like very much is that they've now wired the second tone control to the bridge pickup, which you normally on a Strat...
Show us.
Well, so normally on a Strat you'd have a... So that I'm going into a Fender Hot Rod amplifier. That's my neck pickup, and the tone control works on that. All Strats will do that. Your second position is these two pickups together. And again, tone control. Now here's where it gets different. On a traditionally wired Strat, the middle pickup would be this tone control, and the bridge pickup wouldn't have a tone control. But on the Player Series, this first tone control still works for the middle pickup. And then you've got these two pickups together. And then finally, bridge pickup, which now we have tone for. Which is great, because for a clean sound, I've always found that a relatively unusable tone for just for clean. Use it for lead or something. But now that you can kind of can just take that ice pickness off of it.
It's a little bit more forgiving around the 4K area.
And if you play with distortion, you get that wah-wah. Just by having the tone.
You could do a lick, and as you bend, you could use that tone knob.
You probably could. I would. So that's, I mean, let's hear some tones. There is obviously the Strats are still available in maple necks. I love the colours. Fender, in fact, Rory, I'm sure, will be putting all the different models on screen now, the 3 single coils, the HSH, the HSS models. There's a real sense that Fender have gone, let's just do some of the cool colours from bygone eras.
On the floor, I've got the Titan from Mythos, which does this kind of a thing. Still kind of in there.
I think it's
in a special
great.
60s way.
I apologise for looking at my phone, but there's so many new models in this range. I've just spotted in the range that one of the options on the HSS is a Floyd option as well. So if your thing is to full dive bombing mode, you can have a Floyd Rose tremolo system on there. And it looks like some of them have got, they're describing them as plus tops, which normally means you get like a flame maple veneer on the top as well if you want yours to look way more super stratty. But they look great. So I mean, I think that's kind of cool in the sense of you really have got everything from something that looks like a guitar that was from the 60s and Hank Marvin might have played it, right through to modern super strat shred.
Let me just try using this tone knob in a lead way and see if we can actually get it to do its thing. That seemed to work really well.
I really like it. I mean, the actual feel of them hasn't changed much from the Mexican thing in the C-shaped neck, and the 9.5-inch radius is the same. It just, they say the frets are different, but I'm not really picking it up sort of going, wow, radically different. But apparently, yeah, a little thinner and a little taller, apparently. Machine heads look the same as what was on the old Mexican Standard. Build quality is about the same.
But we never got to a price.
Right, so the whole range, which as I said includes Tellys, Strats, Jaguars and Jazzmasters, and then a whole variation of different Strats, is anything from around about, sort of the lowest price models are around about the £500 mark, and then if you go up to like one of the super flame top Floyd Rosy models, you're going to be around about the 700 mark.
Right.
So you've got that kind of £200 window between sort of 5 and 700 that all of these will fit into. No gig bags with these, just in case you were wondering, that's an optional extra.
I'm interested to know, do people really care about gig bags on guitars around 500 quid mark? Do you? Just interested. Do you?
Well, I own gig bags, but I'll be honest with you.
Would you rather just buy a case, put it in the case?
I like gig bags over cases, to be honest with you. I think for me, my guitars normally get bought and end up being at home or here. And so all my guitar cases are just in the loft at my house, and they almost never come out of the loft. And then if I have to take a guitar somewhere, I'll normally just take it out, stick it in a gig bag, and take it wherever I'm taking it. So I'm not that fussed when a guitar doesn't come with a case, because the chances are I've probably already got something it'll
Pete,
go
are you
in,
a case or a bag guy?
bag.
Unless you have to, if you're touring, you just have a massive cabinet for all your guitars.
Yeah.
If you're doing that kind of tour, I suppose.
I'm a hard case guy
Even
because
you have a little one, but you've got 5 guitars in it.
Yeah.
yeah.
What are you then? Are you a bag or a case
I'm a case
man?
guy because I don't want my guitars to get broken or smashed or back of a car. I've had boots fly over a car open and guitars fall on the motorway.
I think that's more indicative of the kind of cars you drive, that the boots fly open than it is.
It's the kind of drivers we have, not the kind of cars.
So look, so those are the Strats, and as I said, it's a shame we haven't got more of them here, but these are literally the very, very first sort of selection of these to come into Europe. Let's move on.
Moving on.
Rob has got the straightforward 2 single coil Telecaster from the Player Series. Some of the changes that you'll see on this from the Mexican Standard: different bridge saddles, newly designed pickups. Again, the same with the frets being a little narrower and taller.
Do you mind if I unsheath this one?
You can unsheath it.
Thank you.
This comes in 4 models if you include the 2 different neck types. So you can have 2 single coils with a maple board, or 2 single coils with a Pal Ferro board, or you can have 2 humbuckers, again with either fretboard. All the neck kind of dimensions again are the same as, or much the same as they were on the previous Standard. So again, modern C, 9.5-inch radius. I'll play some chordy. Oh no, you do the tones, and then because I've picked up the maple neck Strat, which people haven't heard yet. So
I'll just play some chords so that people can hear.
So then,
you know. I knew it would go.
It's great.
It's a goer.
I've got to be honest with you again. I do think that what this range demonstrates is the pure essence of what Leo Fender originally tried to design, which is a really great guitar for a really affordable price. You know, it's like there's really nothing. Personal preferences about different guitar styles aside, you know, some people are going to like different shapes and looks and all that kind of stuff. But just as a basic tool to go and play music on for an affordable price, the Strat and the Tele have always been standout. That's why it's copied so much, you know, just because it's like they don't cost a lot to make, so you get really good craftsmanship for a fair price. I think they look cool.
Yeah, this one plays really nicely.
Yeah. Anyway, so
do yours.
Well, this is going to sound nigh on exactly the same as the previous Strat. Yeah, I mean, the Tonewood wisdom would suggest that by changing the fretboards to a glossed maple from the Pal Ferro, should add a little bit of extra zing, but I've given up fueling that fire.
Although you haven't.
Well, no, I haven't. I still believe it, but I can't be bothered to argue with people who don't anymore. Got a new pedal setup on the floor here as well, Rob. Well, sort of not really new. Still using the trusty Plimsoll, but now with way less gain on it. So. And then using an MXR Sugar Drive to go. And my new favourite delay pedal, which is my long love affair with the MXR carbon copy, appears to be on the wane.
Right.
And now I've got a T-Rex Reptile 2.
So I have to put
Fender
together
guitars.
a new pedal board soon.
Have you?
Because I've
Oh,
got-
you will do, sorry.
Yeah, I have to, because I've got a really cool gig coming up.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I can't remember the last time you actually had a pedal board.
No,
So
you're totally right.
Maybe it would be really cool if next time we shot a video, we bought our pedal boards and we went, look, this is what we got and this is why.
I know. I think I am just the world's simplest pedal board. As soon as I have more than 3 pedals on my pedal board, I just get confused with what's available. So 2 distortion pedals and a delay pedal and an amp with reverb. It's just, I'm done.
And a mug holder.
I'm done. Yeah, and a mug holder and some plectrum pot. Anyway, look, last 2 guitars in the guitar range are the Jaguar and the Jazzmaster. So if we swap these over. Now, sadly,
the
the
Brown Panther.
wonderful people at Fender on these sort of, not prototypes, but these sort of marketing sample guitars didn't send any tremolo arms with them. So I found one that fits from another Jaguar, but if I'm honest with you, the one that I've found hasn't got a plastic tip on it. And so I don't know whether the ones that are actually going to come with this will have a plastic tip on them or whether they'll just look like this and have no plastic tip on them. So if you're seeing this video and you've bought one of these and it's got a different tremolo arm with it, that's why. What is different on these to a traditional Jaguar and Jazzmaster are the electronics. So instead of having 2 single coils on a Jaguar, I've got a single coil and a humbucker, although this switch here does allow me to coil tap the humbucker. And then I've just got a dead easy to use 3-way switch and a volume and a tone. Rob's is 2 humbuckers. Quite often see 2 humbuckers on Jazzmasters, but again, the traditional one would have been 2 of those big, like fat single coil type things. And again, you haven't got all that complicated lead switch wiring stuff on here. You've just got a straightforward 3-way, no coil taps on here. Rob just pointed out quite rightly that the bridge is vastly improved.
Massively improved. It was the one thing that really bugged me about this model before.
Yeah. So it's actually the Mustang bridge rather than the Jazzmaster bridge. So again, you've got a much deeper.
No more hedgehog saddles.
Yeah, much deeper groove going through the saddle, which means the string won't move around across the saddle, and a sort of a simplified trem system. So we haven't got that locking switch on the trem system, but it is still essentially staying true to the way that the trem arm is attached to a sort of a plate at the back. So you get a different kind of feeling sounding trem system to, say, a Strat trem system.
It's like a trem with a reduced opacity. That's what it's like, isn't it?
I never really liked the trem systems on Jaguars and Jazzmasters, but you know, some people do. It's just different trem systems have a different vibe. Some people like Bigsby's, some like Standards, some like Floyd Rose's, whatever. That sounds great.
It's really good. It's dying for 11 to 60s and drop C.
You just want to put some heavier strings on it, do you? Oh, I see. And play a bit heavier. Yeah.
Absolutely, but it's beautiful feeling, really modern guitar. I mean, you could give this to Joss and he'd have his time travel hand going on straight away.
like it.
Yeah,
I mean,
nice.
I've never been I get uber amounts of YouTube hate for not really liking Jaguars and Jazzmasters as much as other Fender guitars. And I think probably the bulk of that has been down to on the traditional Jaguars and Jazzmasters, I find the switching overly complex, and I'm not a massive fan of the trem system, whatever. But hey, this is the beautiful thing about guitars. Everybody has just got a different opinion and they like different things, and it's all good.
What are the teeth on the single coil?
I've absolutely no idea why, but if you look at the housing on all traditional Jaguars, they all have these funny little teeth going around. In fact, that's a great shout for Fender aficionados out there. And I don't know if you can see what Rob's talking about, but either around the plastic housing are teeth.
I've always wondered. I've just never asked.
I wonder if are they an integral part of the pole piece, or
it's
is
like
it
the nose
just
of one of those sawfish? You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. And I don't know why, but. Hey, let's jam out. So this is the new Fender Player Series. There are links in the description below to where you can find out more. They'll be available pretty much as soon as this video goes live. Well done, Fender.
What
Good
key
range.
do you want, Lee?
Front door? Back door.
Back door key.
Back door.
Okay,
go.
Bye.
Au revoir.
Boom. Boom.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching the Andertons Guitar YouTube channel. If you're a drummer or a keyboard player or interested in music technology, you might find one of our other channels interesting, and I'll put details of those in the description below. If you want to find out more about the products we've just featured, please click here. If you'd like to buy a t-shirt like this, please click here. If you want to watch another video on our guitar channel, click down here. And to subscribe to our guitar channel, click here. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.